After a mysterious fire, paranormal investigator Larry Arnold is questioning witnesses. He begins by interviewing the local sheriff, Ron Lockhart.
It was obvious that something bizarre had happened here. That was a very unusual fire scene. Normally you find burned bodies in a house that's basically burned down on top of them.
Right.
And normally they're not as damaged as bad as this body was damaged.
Rick Russell is the local fire chief. He too is baffled.
I arrived on scene at 10:51 a.m. Notice when I pulled up, we only had a slight amount of smoke coming from the residence, no flame. The thing that really surprised me was there was nothing burnt around the body. The refrigerator just inches from the body. Plastic handle on the refrigerator door, no melting. Plastic handle on the cooking range, no melting. Trash bag laying just inches from the body, wasn't wrinkled from heat. This fire originated and stopped at the body.
From the evidence at the scene, it appears to be the body alone that burnt. And Fire Chief Russell concludes there was no external source, such as an explosion caused by gasoline.
I would rule against a flashover type because I think we would have more evidence of burning the ceiling area. Even the stove and the refrigerator should have shown signs if we had a explosion type fire.
Everyone who attended the scene is mystified. No one understands how this man burnt to ash while the house remained intact. But for Larry Arnold, it has the hallmarks of a rare and terrifying phenomenon: spontaneous human combustion.
It's an extraordinary phenomenon. It's extremely difficult to investigate. These are truly unexplained files.
Wouldn't it be something if we could power our cars, our boats, even our houses with salt water? That would make a darn good story, don't you think? Well, I've come out to Florida's West Coast to see if it could be a reality.
When I visited John, Kansas earlier this year, I wanted to talk about his work trying to find a cure for cancer. But before we got down to business, he wanted to show me something else that his machine can do. I scooped up some salt water from the canal behind his home and brought it into his garage where his radio frequency machine sits.
So I'm just going to take this water. How much do you want me to pour in? All the way up. All the way up to the top, okay.
He grabbed a paper towel and put it in the test tube to act like a candle wick.
So all that's in this test tube right now is the salt water I just took from your backyard.
Right.
And a paper towel.
Paper towel.
He put the test tube in the machine, then turned it on.
You got it? Pretty neat, huh?
The paper towel amazingly didn't burn.
The paper towel amazingly didn't burn.
Turn the machine on.
Jimmy Klein fires up his hot new invention. His machine emits a flame that feels only slightly warm to the touch. But watch what happens when he touches anything else.
Instantaneously, I can burn a hole right down through the center of that brick.
The flame instantly turns hotter than the surface of the sun. Heat so intense it takes only seconds to literally burn a hole through charcoal. 3 seconds turns a brass ball to glowing liquid metal. Tungsten lights up like a sparkler. Steel, lead, and other metal slices on contact. Yet the tip of the welder stays cool to the touch.
No other gas will do this.
Yet the tip of the welder stays cool to the touch.
No other gas will do this.
The top our news here at 6 o'clock, an age-old dream becoming a reality. A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
It's a major breakthrough that will no doubt make motorists happy. And as Ralph Robinson explains, the Pentagon is also showing lots of interest in this project.
Water has always been considered a precious commodity, but Stan Meyer's invention may make it even more valuable. He has developed what's called a water fuel cell. It has taken the place of his old gas tank. The water fuel cell breaks down water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is used to run his dune buggy.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, they use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Meyer started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Meyer's invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run Army tanks. Myers is currently perfecting a water fuel cell for cars. It will cost about $1,500. He says it won't need any maintenance, and you won't have to replace it. It'll be at least 2 years before the fuel system goes into mass production. The day it happens will be one the fuel industry hates, but it'll put a smile on the face of those who've had to say at one time or another, fill her up. I'm Ralph Robbins.
As you can see, many patents have already been received, and many more are forthcoming. To date, over 42 patents have been applied for.
I have here the official copy of the Stanley Myers Coroner's Report. This is the findings and facts and verdict of the coroner of Franklin County in Columbus, Ohio. Rupture of cerebral artery aneurysm. He has his wife's name here, Marilyn Meyer. This was their address in Columbus at the time. Here's some things that are on this here. Circumstances surrounding death. Descendant supposedly at lunch with NATO.
Circumstances surrounding death. Descendant supposedly at lunch with NATO.
They drained fuel. They added something to the coolant lines. They played with electronics. And that's not typical vandal stuff.
Less than a week after bringing free water to Flint, Moses West says the green machine he designed to do just that was vandalized.
Once they broke into the machine and they destroyed the generator, very technical, they knew what they were doing. It wasn't just, random vandalism, not at all. They destroyed the battery. They put metal in the fuel system. I saw that when I was cleaning the fuel filter.
West is a military veteran who travels across the country to areas in crisis, bringing a machine he designed like this one that literally makes fresh water out of thin air.
But look, as I said yesterday, it's not just a moral imperative, it's an economic imperative as well. Investing in our clean energy future is an enormous opportunity for every country to create good paying jobs and spur a broad-based economic recovery. As I've said, you've heard me say before, and my colleagues as well, when I think of climate crisis, I think of jobs. And that's what the Build Back Better framework will do for the American people.
How about another joke, Murray?
No, I think we've had enough of your jokes.
What do you get?
I don't think so.
When you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash.
Call the police,
I'll
Gene.
tell you what you get.
Call the police.
You get what you fucking deserve.